What's up, bitches? It's your Wolf King, and you're watching another night in secular America. We got secular revenge. We got Ocean Kidara. We got Keyfees, the Elite Hunter. We got Eve Real. We've got Clockwork Commando, and we got the Clip Jumper. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Yeah, except I'm not American, so night in.
Yeah, well, you're
Canada?
no. Well, you live in North America.
Oh,
And what
okay.
about me?
Yeah,
You
and
forgot about Clip.
you're an export.
And what about Clockwork?
Tell the
Yeah.
British guy to go jump
I don't know
off
where
a
the
cliff.
I don't know where the fuck you from. Commander, where the hell are you from?
I'm from UK, northern UK.
Oh yeah, okay. And also, you said that you believe in some batshit crazy stuff. What is that?
Alright, fuck it, I'll pull something out of thin air. I don't believe the Earth is convex. I believe it's concave.
Well,
Uh-oh.
What?
What?
It's worse
How
than
the hell
I
do you get to
thought.
that? Like, are we inside of a globe or?
Yep. So basically, like, we're told that we live on the outside of a sphere, whereas I believe the opposite. We live, sort of inside the sphere.
Okay, I'm gonna get loaded, and maybe that'll make better sense to me. Hold on.
okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna crack one too.
That makes no sense at all because I've been at 40,000 feet and I've seen the curvature of the Earth going away.
Well, I ain't got no beer.
Not
No,
so.
got no.
What do you think about the whole going to the moon thing?
I don't believe we've been to a moon, because I don't believe there's a inhabitable space for us to, venture into, so to speak.
Why do I
So
always
what
get
do you
to talk
hold
to
on?
the...
What do you think about the that big shiny thing that's floating around in the sky thing? Like, what do you think the moon is when we look at it?
It's fake.
I believe it exists, but I believe it's a device. It has some sort of
device.
astrological influence on how reality functions.
All right. So, are you aware that you can look through a telescope at the moon and
Right.
see like
Yes.
tracks and reflectors that humans have put on there?
See, I do get asked that, and it's like, I don't believe my eyes, basically. That's basically
Okay.
what I'm going with that. Like, I don't believe, everything that my eyes say is
But-
true.
What your eyes tell you when you look at the moon through a telescope would be consistent with the story of people putting a moon lander on there and walking around and driving a rover around and putting reflectors on it so that we could prove to the Russians that we'd been there.
Right, and that's why I don't believe my own eyes.
Okay. It's just, like, it's strange that when the story is consistent with the evidence there and you still don't believe it.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
Because I don't believe there's just visible light reality. I believe there's more, spectrums, if you will.
Okay. All right, well, I guess somebody else can take a whack at it. I've said what I wanted to say.
Well, it's pretty hard because I was trying to say I don't got my beer and my kush to deal with this kind of conspiracy stuff, so it's gonna be a little tricky to keep my sanity and not pull a red.
I was going to say,
Well.
Norse sort of paganism and Celtic paganism touches on concave Earth stuff, with the Tree of Life. I can't remember how it's
Not in
pronounced.
a concave sense, and I look at a lot of those stories as stories, not necessarily literal events or histories.
Right. I was going to say, I look at them
So,
as myth.
like,
Myth is-
the myths say that Odin formed the Earth out of the skull of a ice giant. I don't think that's what literally happened, but there's a story there.
Indeed, but I believe that there's truths to be taken from that, and that's what a myth is. It's
Right.
it's
No,
truth
I
encrypted
agree.
within,
How long
agree.
have you been thinking the Earth is concave?
Say what? Oh. Go for it.
honestly, for about, I don't know, a year or so.
And what made you come to this realization?
Revelation, through tapping into my sort of, self, through
What kind of revelation? What was the mechanism?
mechanism.
Did you hear a voice in your head,
No,
for example?
I became aware of my own awareness, and through that is how I sort of, understand, the reality or the position within the reality that I'm in.
Okay. And again, the question is, what was the mechanism?
But what do you mean by what was the mechanism? It's really me not
How did
understanding
you come to this realization? You said you've had a revelation. In what form?
that. What do you mean by form of revelation? I mean,
Okay, let me try again. Were you
Oh, boy.
tripping?
no.
Okay. in what form of revelation did this come? I've asked you two already. You know.
It's like I said, it's a state of being.
Did you have a voice in your head? In what was the mechanism for this revelation?
Self-awareness.
Yeah, okay, well, how'd you get this self-awareness? You just one day wake up and say, I'm more self-aware.
Well, you're aware now, aren't you? Well, you're aware now. Like, we are, communicating through points of awareness, aren't we? So through me, exploring my own point of awareness is thus how I gained the revelation of what I've come to understand. If that makes sense.
So you just did it one day, and then you just kind of decided that the Earth was inside out, basically?
I looked at things that were out there, obviously, and I ran that through my own self-awareness, and through doing that, came to understand my position and where I am, and so that's how I, came to understand all that stuff, and that's why I hold the position I do.
You find it easier to believe that we're inside out than on the outside of the globe, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
There's
sure
no
it's
Obviously, like, it's
that.
difficult to prove. It's difficult to sort of, communicate with people who don't obviously subscribe to that because we've been told, contrary, and we experience, contrary to that because, it's visible like reality. It can be manipulated. But I subscribe to the idea that there's more than just this spectrum that we experience.
Sent a probe out to Jupiter and had to take pictures, and
That's
even
what we're
beyond
told.
that. So, well, I mean,
I myself haven't made a probe, sent it out to Jupiter, and made artifacts and technologies that can.
What's your reason to doubt that they would lie to us?
That's an interesting question.
you can get a telescope and look at it, and you can look at Jupiter through a telescope. Jupiter is actually really easy to see.
I was going to say, I have done that, and it looks nothing like how NASA sort of portray it to people. It's, these sort of, images we've been given of space and planets and such aren't true to what you can see for yourself. So I have done that. I have, looked at the moon and planets and such, and it doesn't.
So when you say you've looked at Jupiter and you said it doesn't look like what you think it looks like, or what was expected,
Well, it doesn't look like what we're told it looks like in regards to sort of the images we're fed of space and this glorious sort of, giant.
What kind of telescope were you looking through? Was it? I mean, I don't know if it was powerful enough to actually see like the images of Jupiter or even its ring.
Isn't that like through the $1 ones you get at the dollar store?
Yeah, if you no.
Those
I
aren't
don't think
telescopes.
I'm gonna give it the
Those
benefit
are
of the doubt. Say it's
what
not
do you
looking at
call?
that.
What do you call? Man, I had a good one, but I can't think of what it's called. What are
A
those little?
kaleidoscope?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's looking at a kaleidoscope.
Oh, shit. That's
that would
not
be really
anything
funny,
what
though.
they said it was.
That doesn't look like it. That doesn't look like it at all. All right, the universe is a bunch of diamonds.
It's a bunch of patterns.
He's got like 3
No.
pairs of binoculars taped to each other, then telescope.
But if you look at Jupiter through a fairly weak telescope, you're going to see what Galileo did when he looked at Jupiter through a fairly weak telescope.
Right.
Which is kind of like a circle with a couple of dots around it, maybe. And
But
it would be
again,
like white.
According to clockwork, we can't trust our eyes, so it doesn't matter what you tell them.
Well, I
Pretty
just
good.
want to know what's your reasoning in doubting the scientific community.
Because there's people like that.
But
It's like I
yeah,
said,
but I
through
want to
sort
know
of-
their justification. Go ahead.
It's hard to communicate in human language, but it's through being self-aware that you can sort of discern what's truth and what's not. I suppose that is, in a simple, term, revelation.
So
I
you're
suppose.
more self-aware than everybody else?
It's going to sound profoundly arrogant, but I suppose, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
necessarily
I
mind when
don't.
people say that. But I do get.
It doesn't mean I'm
weirded
above
out when-
anybody. It doesn't mean
Well,
that there's
no,
some
I'm-
sort of hierarchical system. It just means that I do obviously subscribe to the idea that I must be tapping into something that other people aren't. If,
Because it
there's
makes
not-
you feel special, of course.
No, not at all. That's not.
I don't think that it is necessarily. Well, I mean, it might be a little arrogant, but I get what you're saying when you're saying that it doesn't necessarily put you above anybody else. It's
Right.
just that you're seeing something other people aren't. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
necessarily mind that.
rather
What-
than assuming that you're delusional, you say that, oh, everybody else just doesn't get it.
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, this might sound
I
quite
would
it's
stupid.
not
disagree
quite
that-
what
That's
I'm.
why.
I would
Eh.
disagree that it's not a superior position. To me, when someone thinks that they hold this sacred knowledge and other people don't know it, other people can't know it, other people won't know it, to me
Well, they
that's...
can't. They just choose not to. That's the point. They choose not to.
They choose not to because you don't prove anything that you're saying.
Right,
It's
because
the-
this
it's
is where
the
the
same-
self-awareness comes into it. Like, I can't show you yourself, can I? There's only you that can tap into your own self-awareness. That's why it's difficult to prove and sort of, communicate as to what
You
it is.
know, we're all self-aware.
Right.
Okay, so
And there's
what's your
depths to that.
point
There's
with
not
that?
just there's not just surface
Because we
reality.
don't imagine what you do and believe what you do, then we're not really self-aware.
I didn't catch the first bit. Sorry, what was the first bit?
Because we don't believe what you do, we're not self-aware.
Not necessarily, but I mean to a degree. I mean, again, I don't want to sound arrogant. I mean,
So
I-
why don't you just prove everything you're saying instead of asserting it?
Yeah, as long
It
as
comes
you're
into
asserting.
All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. What's up?
Oh boy, this dude over here is asserting his theories, and
We're
I'm just
talking
saying
smack.
we want some evidence for it.
We're just
Okay,
talking
now, Commando. Now, what is it now that you're talking about?
I don't know, to sum it up briefly. We were talking about states of awareness and how if you choose to tap into it, you can perceive more, and thus, I feel as though I've done that and other people haven't, and thus this is why it's difficult for me to prove and sort of communicate as to what it is I experience.
Okay, by tap into different states of awareness. What do you mean?
That's how you
By-
find out the Earth's inside out.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we were talking about that as well. We were talking about the sort of.
No, I mean, no, man. Well, I can't speak for everyone else because I was getting medicated earlier, so I can't be I couldn't be bothered at the time. But now I'm back. So
When you
what
say
do you mean by
you're getting medicated, were you pulling a Carlson?
I don't know what Carlson does in his spare time, but I engage in the ganja.
Yeah, that's
I-
Carlson.
Yeah, it's not Carlson, that's Wolf King. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. What do you mean by you tap into different states of awareness? Like, could you describe your experience?
You explore yourself. I mean, pause. But like you sort of, it's really hard to describe with sort of human language, and I know that might sound a bit, strange, but like
As opposed to what other language?
as opposed to sound, because language is sound, isn't it? It's a
Language
way
is
of portraying
communication.
sound.
I mean, like, you
Communication's an aspect of
use
self.
language. Use language to describe like your experience. I mean, like you could,
Right,
like,
exactly.
if I walk down like a lane and and I see street signs and stuff, I can describe that to you in like words and in the individual signs and
Right, yeah.
symbols that you can get, and on not just on the semantic but the syntactic and the pragmatic.
Right,
like
exactly.
you'd be able to get that. So I mean, if this is our personal experience, I'll even grant you that it's probably personal experience and I wouldn't get it, but like, I just want to know for the sake of the discussion.
I'd like to point out that language isn't sound. Language is using sound to communicate ideas.
Yeah.
And concepts.
Right.
And I'm just wondering.
I don't
if you
disagree with that. I just
explain
thought.
this concept, the concept of how you receive this revelation, or this self-awareness, because really, you haven't kind of nailed anything down so far. You just said, I had this self-awareness thing, but there's no mechanism, there's no description, there's no how it happened, in what form it took.
It sort of comes down to what you're looking for to sort of help explain it, though, isn't it? I mean, what are you sort of looking for me to help?
I mean, you said like it helps you
truth.
explore your. I mean, as weird as that sounds, it sounds like you said like it helps you explore yourself, which honestly sounds like Jack in it, but that's neither here nor there. Like it sounds like it's like you're trying to invoke some like transcendent mind experience or something like that.
Right, yeah. I suppose transcendent's a good word.
If it's all about what you're looking for, and I'm searching for truth, then why is it that?
Okay, that's good. So what's truth then?
Truth
Truth-
is what conforms to reality.
Yeah, truth is the degree to which a statement corresponds with reality.
Right. Okay. So is your how can I word this? Is your experience within this reality truth then, or not?
Well, true. Okay, it would be limited to my reason and experience, right? So I would need like a good source of knowledge in order to understand how reality is.
Right. Exactly. So you're aware of your own limits then, if that makes sense. You're aware of your own limitations in regards to how much truth you can, make sense of, or
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
because
right.
I understand as like
What do you mean? What do you mean?
as like a fallible entity, I'm subject to learn every day as everyone else.
Right.
Yeah, that's why science, for example, it's a good it's a reliable source of knowledge to understand the world because it has like that built-in self-correcting mechanism that allows humans to refine knowledge if new data comes to light. So
bingo, and you hit right on it. See, what I would have said was this is why we come up with objective methods to try to determine what is true and what's not true in reality, because you can't always trust your own perceptions, right? I mean, humans have known for a long time that we're fallible, and that we have to come up with some kind of objective. I mean, born out of philosophy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to clear up, okay? I'll catch you later.
Later, Cliff.
Bye-bye.
He just left us.
But yeah, if you want truth, don't look out, look in. That makes sense. That's how you sort of tap into your self-awareness.
Yeah, prove that that's the truth.
Well, you can prove it yourself right now. Explore your own mind.
My own mind is based on what I experience in this reality.
Right, exactly. So question that, analyze it, ask what it is. That's what I mean by that's how you find truth, isn't it?
There is a such thing as over-skepticism that is illogical.
Over-skepticism? Is there such
Yes.
thing as over-skepticism?
Yeah, there is
Yes, there
actually, and it's actually been it's been diagnosed by. Well, sir, I won't say everybody, but it's been something that's been brought up, especially in the study of people that are like heavily into conspiracy theories and things like that. There's some interesting stuff on that, but I mean, this is exactly like I was just saying, though. I mean, we can't trust our perceptions, our quote-unquote mind for truth. This is why we've recognized that we have to come up with some kind of objective metric to kind of measure it against. So I mean, to find your inner truth, by what objective metric can you even put to that?
Well, your own point of awareness is your own metric of whatever. Well,
then reality is just whatever I perceive
Then it's just
right,
like
exactly.
you said in my hangout.
But that's just your personal reality, though. That's just your perception. That doesn't mean that it's objectively true.
And it's nuts because it's going to cause those who suffer mental illness not to get the help that they need. If everybody took what you said as truth, that would be the outcome.
What would be the outcome?
That mentally ill patients would not receive the help that they need because it would be seen as okay that the cousin...
Okay, but this comes down to what do you mean by mentally ill? What aspects of...
I shared that with you in my past hangout, a while ago. The guy thought that he killed his cousin's baby by stomping on her stomach, and none of that ever took place.
Right, but there's things out there, isn't there, that could probably explain that in regards to sort of religion and philosophy and theosophy. There's ideas that sort of could explain, as to why they were...
I'll tell you what explained it was he had a chemical imbalance.
Right, exactly, but the chemical imbalance is the physical aspect of
yeah, okay, well,
but
there's also delusions and mass deceptions that we have proof of as well.
Right, exactly.
People can be convinced of things that aren't true.
Right. So how do you go about...
So if you're saying...
How do you know you're not deceived and, say the other person
Well,
is.
that's exactly what secular was bringing up, that we need another objective metric to measure that.
Okay, but there's the
And
problem.
what you were saying is that whatever someone believes within themselves is their own truth and their own reality.
He's just going to get
and
into
that
how
is
can you
not
prove your
true.
metric to be right.
That is not true. It's not true that guy stomped on that lady's belly and killed her baby.
Right, but what is true is that
And
he
it's a good thing.
that.
It's a good thing that it wasn't true, because
right, but he still experienced that in his own mind.
It tormented him.
He still experienced that in his own mind.
It didn't make it true. That's the problem. That's the point.
Can someone explain the analogy made? Like what was the scenario got to do with truth?
Wasn't an analogy. It actually happened, but at the same time didn't happen.
Oh, I didn't know.
What I was saying, Wolf, was he was basically saying whatever someone experiences within their own mind is their truth and their reality. And if it doesn't comport with reality, then it's not truth. And so I brought up my cousin's cousin, who has a chemical imbalance, and before that was discovered, he thought that he stomped on his pregnant cousin's belly and killed the baby. And that's not what happened.
Well, just so I could jump in real quick, and I don't want to speak for Commando, but I think what I'm hearing from Commando is that basically the experience exists as an abstract concept, therefore it exists because he comes from he presupposes kind of a dualism approach where mind and body are separate entities. You see what I'm saying? So to him, that what happens in the abstract is just as real as what happens in the physical, because he presupposes that it's another plane of existence, right?
Right, yeah. So that sort of goes into the law of as above, so below and whatnot. So yeah, we'll go with that.
I still don't see how that.
No, I'm not necessarily agreeing. I'm just saying that's what his position. And this is very similar, actually, to not exactly, but just fundamentally, it's very similar to like a position that someone like Matt Slick would hold when he went against Matt. Now, I'm not saying that you're arguing the same philosophical arguments, but he makes a very similar argument in regards to abstract concepts, that they're an existing thing, but you can't freeze them, you can't bury them, you can't touch them, but yet they exist, right?
Right, I suppose. Yeah.
He sees it very similar in a very similar way, but he uses the argument. He then goes on to try to prove that there must be a mind of God for these abstract concepts to exist or something. But
yeah, the abstract concepts existing in and of itself, as us having concepts, does not prove that the concepts themselves are true.
Well, it sort of does, because it's your point of awareness that's just experienced the abstract, concept. Thus, it's real.
No. What it proves is that we, as Secular said earlier, are fallible.
Right, but your awareness of, you being able to observe that you're sort of fallible is in itself a state of awareness, if that makes sense. You can see your own, position within reality. Thus, you have that point of awareness to discern what's real and what's not, and that's how you get truth, right?
Yeah, I would say that I would agree to that to a certain extent, but you have to have something outside of yourself as well. Because you can be delusional, because you can believe something that isn't true or that does not comport with reality.
Right.
Okay, so you think that because you hold this this type of mindset, that because you have this subjective experience that can't be understood by anyone else other than you, it gives you this. Okay, we'll elaborate on that.
I'd say that right. You choose to experience reality, right? So you have a choice between you either experience reality or you choose to explore yourself, because yourself experiences reality, right? So that's where sort of the dualism comes in, if that makes any sense.
I mean, it's in the sense that you could say that you are like an entity experiencing reality, but like if you limit that to your own like decisions or your own like little social circle amongst yourself, you're kind of more or less ignoring the larger universe that you're living in. You know, you're like one bit of just a larger bit of bits, and like a infinite reality of bits. You know, and and believe it or not, a lot of those things, you know, with regard to your physical environment that you were brought up in and your genetics, like a lot of that comes together to make up what the person that you are. You know, like in a way, you're kind of appeal to subjectivity on that level, or uniqueness kind of helps, like you know, my case, in that, you know, while you say you're unique, sure, that still wouldn't be possible unless the conditions were the same as they were right now, down to the very last bit of the equation.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
I suppose.
Yeah. So I mean, while you can have, I mean, because here's the thing. I agree with Sam Harris about the whole secular spirituality thing. I meditate as much as possible, and excuse me, freaking bags outside.
Wait a minute. If you meditate, you'll
Well, hold on. It's part of a form of secular spirituality that I practice. You know, there's nothing stopping, you know, an atheist from experiencing awe and wonder and all that stuff. Okay, there's no monopoly on that. All right.
Right.
Now, and here's the thing, and I understand that there are awesome meditation masters who actually focus on consciousness, and if that's what you want to go with, that's fine. I'm not going to necessarily contest that. But the thing is, I think the difference is between us is that I don't. Do you make? I think the biggest question is this: do you make him like empirical basis on the empirical standards on the basis of these experiences of self-awareness?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, I don't do that, because spirituality is by its very definition subjective. All right. It's not gonna. There's no. I mean, sure, in a way you can communicate that, and the dialogue itself, like, more or less becomes intersubjective, but the experiences itself are subjective. You know, we're engaging in two different forms of sort of trying to relate it to one another. You know, as interlocutors. It's sort of like we're engaging in as two different minds in forms of semi-solipsism. The thing is, we're trying to see if if there's in these shared divergences of meaning, there can be something of a congruent understanding.
Right.
So, so I guess the next question would be: so by this personal experience, you think that the world is concave?
I mean, again, this is going to sound incredibly arrogant, but I know that the world is concave.
On the basis of this personal experience.
Asserting certainty doesn't make it true.
Yeah, that's the point.
Right, and that's. I mean, I'd agree with that to a degree, because that's the problem of, reality perceptions. You limit yourself to the reality you experience now, whereas I sort of make the choice to transcend that and take into account the other aspects of it.
I'd be interested to hear. Sorry, I'd just be interested to hear though after Eve goes, like exactly how did you come to this conclusion though? And don't say that you just became aware of your own self-awareness. Like how did you come to that specific conclusion that the Earth is concave?
Okay, so through reading, certain texts, certain religious texts, certain.
Damn, Google Plus is fucking up. I'm sorry, I need to mute myself. Somebody mute me.
Okay.
But yeah. If that made any sense.
Well, you got it through reading, but you never used any objective metrics or anything on the actual Earth? You simply got it through like some kind of epiphany of reading religious texts, and you come up with a conclusion that it must be concave?
I mean, to keep it simple, yeah, I suppose. But I mean, what do you mean by a metric? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, for example, like we can observe like ships disappearing over the horizon, right? And we can
Right.
actually use we can actually devise an actual measurement system to deduce that there must be a curvature. This would lead to further experiments, which we can actually document and we can actually measure like
Right.
these
Okay. Based on what you
observations.
sort of.
But you're based
Right. Right. Yeah.
what's objectively seen by a number of people. Like we can repeat that, we can demonstrate it.
Right. Right.
So I'm just wondering how you came to the conclusion without even testing it against the reality that you're perceiving.
Right. And that's where it sort of gets difficult for me to communicate that. And this is where you can't take my word for it, obviously, and it's difficult for me to to explain in human language because
It
there's more.
sounds like
But I guess what I'm asking is, what did you put it against to test it to see if what you're perceiving is true?
because it sounds like you just bought into what religious texts have been saying.
You're just like, yeah, it makes sense to me, sounds cool, fits into my paradigm, so now it's true.
That's an aspect of it because again,
Well,
that's self, isn't it?
But we can all just do whatever we want then, and then it's true. That's just not objectively true, though.
Right.
Oh, okay. I guess we agree.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want you to explain it in human language. I would actually prefer mathematics, so the actual laws of physics that would dictate the movements of these celestial bodies. I mean, do you have a model?
Wait 1 sec. I'll be back in a minute. 1 sec.
Okay.
If he does have a model, are we all ready for it?
I would hope so.
Dude, yeah, and one more thing. I have another question. How do we? Okay, you said it had something to do with transcendent of the
He's
mind.
on BRB right
How
now.
how,
He's not
how
gonna
is
come
that
back.
not?
Yeah, well, if he's
He's not
BRB.
What,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he said
Oh,
he'll
my
be.
bad.
Kifi, I'm open to anything as long as there's some evidence that can be shown for it.
I bet you will.
Falsifiability is the biggest one.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean,
I'll bet
it's
you, I'll
not
bet
that
you
I
all-
would buy right into it just from a couple of pieces of evidence, but I would certainly be open to looking more into it. Sorry, Secular.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll bet you all 1,000 internet points is gonna bring up like some ancient star chart or something. This is what
Sacred
you're gonna do.
geometry.
Yeah, like the spirit science guy.
Well, I mean, I didn't ask for that. I asked for an equation, at least.
Well, probably won't find it because he just admitted that he didn't do any kind of objective testing or metric.
Oh, Andy's gone?
What?
Well, he'll
Hopefully
he might
he'll
come
be
back.
Yeah.
He might come back.
I would, absolutely. Well, I guess we could just fill the space while he'll be back, until he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back unless he's gonna run away as soon as he.
Hello, Idol Smasher.
What up, Manoa? What up, Manoa Hyde? How you doing?
Oh gosh, it's gonna fill up and you won't be able to come back.
Oh, Stizor, what's up, motherfucker?
Stizor, it's been a little while actually.
Hey there, Sty.
What's up, guys?
Stizor, I'm coming for you, motherfucker.
Gosh, alright, good. Well, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions for this guy.
Yeah, we are. It's an interesting room. Everybody has their own interesting opinion on how the world works.
Yeah, this is a good
Yeah.
lineup. Oh, well, apologies.
Pluralistic room in which we can engage in rational discourse, just like the philosophers of old.
Yeah, and apologies to people listening right now. I mean, it's quite dead.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a video. I want to link to you guys, and if anybody else has any more information about this,
What
to
is
let
it?
me know. Like, I
Do
might
it, Miss
even,
Real.
I might even do a hangout showing it and making it the topic.
What is it?
But I can't. I was shown it by a friend, and I told my friend, look, I can't buy into it, just
Oh.
because it's a video, because
Ah,
of Photoshop and all the different things you can do. online nowadays. But I would love,
Okay.
I would
For
love
now,
to hear
sounds like
more.
aliens.
I would love to have more information about it, though.
If it's
Yeah,
too
well, okay,
scary, I'm not gonna join in, man. That shit freaks me out.
Share the
Problem.
info.
Alright,
This
so
is
problem
secular
is,
It's not a
America.
scary thing. It's just freaky.
alright, problem is, guys, we're now full room and Clockwork can't get back in.
Well, you know, shit happens.
Alright.
Just link the video and see what they say about it. Then if it's not that scary, I might jump in.
It's not scary. It's just really kind of freaky.
What's freaky about it?
Is a guy with two dicks?
St. Tommy has sacrificed his spot.
Yes, thank you, Tommy.
He is a noble bro.
Very noble.
Can I get a mic check? 1, 2. Can you hear me out there? In Google Plus.
And Tommy, if you want to switch out at some point, I'll
What up, my
sacrifice
Jewish
my spot and let you
mystic?
back.
Haha. What's up, my secular homie?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Brother John, we got like a weird link to observe.
Oh, really?
I'm just reading the side chat. That's
Eve's link?
hilarious.
Yep. She doesn't know what to think about it, and I'm kind of too afraid to click on it right now because I'd rather not have a bad dream.
What is it, Chinese?
Well, I'm pretty, I'm pretty
because, like,
skeptical about it.
Because
Sorry.
pictures are totally scary and shit.
No, it's not nothing scary. It's just kind of freaky.
Well, hey, I say that to
Um,
myself. too.
Yeah,
I'm saying-
you know what's freaky? Freaking seeing Baphomet in Rule 34. That's freaky. But I can't be bothered with fetishes.
Well,
What
okay,
was
well, not
this?
necessarily the freakiness, you know, like psychologically you realize, oh, whatever. But apparently my subconscious doesn't think so, because I'll have like a stupid dream about it or something.
Yo, your mind,
Okay.
your mind is weird. Like Dr. Freud tells you that.
Did anybody watch it?
I'm not bothering my
Okay,
subconscious.
I'm watching it.
Watching it now.
Right now.
You don't have to have.
Yeah,
the
I just
sound. Yeah, you don't have to have the sound on either. Sorry, go ahead.
I see
Yeah, I
a
want-
profile.
I see smoke.
Yeah, it's a cloud that looks like a face, and everyone's going crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's pretty defined though. I mean, it's not as if it's just some puff of a cloud and it looks like cotton candy or something.
Yeah, but I mean, like humans see like forms in like everything that relates to their experience.
It's pretty freaky.
I just don't think that could really be explained away by saying, "Oh, it's just a cloud that someone
No,
interprets."
Yeah. Well,
I-
fucking Jesus pancake.
No,
I think
Jesus
that
pancake.
it could be explained with Photoshop or something.
No,
but-
it can be explained that humans are pattern-seeking recognition machines.
Thank you, my
We
study.
see faces in clouds literally because that's who we are. It's just weird the way it happens. It's actually a psychological thing. It's got fuck all to do with Photoshop. People see
Well, it's
crazy
an
shit in-
evolutionary advantage, actually, being able
Thank
to,
you.
in a lot of circumstances, being able to spot out a predator or something.
Yeah.
Oh
absolutely.
man, you're making me want to click on it.
It's pretty cool though. It does look like God surfing in the sky kind of thing with his face. Look cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't go around
Yeah,
worrying about it.
Yeah. Also, Jesus toast. Jesus toast. Jesus fucking pancakes. Jesus eggs.
I have
Yeah,
never
some Jesus
seen
makes a good breakfast.
anything. I've never seen anything that looks quite like that. As far as like the Jesus toast and everything, that stuff does not look as defined as what that video showed.
It did
I
look
saw
Yeah.
Jesus on a dog's asshole, so I'll believe anything.
You know what? You know what's funny about that? I know exactly the picture you're talking about, and I put that in a Christian video of mine one time. And didn't even fucking know it. One of my friends watched it. One of my friends watched it and messaged me. It was like, you know, there's a dog ass in your video. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Get stoned. You see Jesus all the time, dude. Seriously.
I wasn't stoned though. That just made me feel
I'm saying
stupid.
if you get stoned,
I mean, like friggin' our media has basically literally went through almost every friggin' time, like they see Jesus in like any bit of food. I think I remember this one time they talked about they found it in a fucking goldfish cracker. I'm all like, what the fuck?
If you can find your God in
Yeah.
a grilled cheese, you can see your God in anything.
Yeah. Especially
The
grilled
thing
cheese.
That's just
is,
ridiculous.
like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it is kind of startling and everything, but at the same time, you also got to realize the people that see like whatever Jesus on like a piece of toast, or whatever. Those moments are probably just as real and just as defined to them.
I see the body in Christ in bacon sandwiches when I've got a hangover. That shit's delicious.
And I'm not just trying to make a joke.
I see telepathic messages in my cereal. It says ooh, but those are Cheerios.
I get messages all the time on my alphabet cereal.
Oh boy, I see that message too.
I get the messages all the time when I have my alphabet cereal.
My
in different
spirit
languages,
animal is Brian the dog. I am Brian the dog. I'm so fucking high right now.
I'm getting there.
Hey, where? Whose leg you have to hump to get a dry martini around here?
I love a dry martini, but tonight it's a bourbon night.
I
You know, they
don't
actually
even
sell
like martinis. I like vodka.
That's what I'm drinking.
They actually sell a toaster that will put an image of Jesus on your bread. They do.
Well, I guess you're gonna have to try to explain that to the people that say they had this revelation like that.
That's grilled cheeses, water stains on the side, on a building.
Well, there was multiple ones. It was caused by a sprinkler. There's actually an identical Mary on the other side of that building too. But see, having more than one Mary would make it less miraculous. So.
Yeah, I guess so. I still don't know what to say about the video because I haven't seen it, but
Oh, that face on the cloud.
That's it. It's
Oh
literally
yeah,
a cloud with the face.
Cloud disappear.
yeah, it was pretty good. I mean,
Cloud disappear. Cloud disappear. It makes just as much sense as that guy saying cloud disappear in that fucking North Present.
Well, when I first watched it,
Fucking
it looked like a couple of faces, and I was like, oh, this is just, just clouds or whatever. But, I mean, it got pretty defined.
Yeah.
At one
No, I
point.
look-
Yeah, so
I'd like
is
to know
Mount
more
Rushmore.
about this.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you fucking look. You can fucking look at Mars. Like it looked like it has a face, or freaking like at Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore
now
or
that I think
and
about
stuff
it,
like
there's
that.
a
Or
fine face on
Mount Rushmore? Yeah, I see 4 faces in Mount Rushmore.
yeah, of course.
Those are really there, though.
Yeah,
Those are
Yeah,
real
they're actually
faces
there.
that were put there.
yeah.
It's amazing how the pattern recognition works, isn't it? With that?
But that is actually designed, so I don't think that's a good example.
Oh, okay, fine. Natural clouds in the sky. You know when you're like sitting like on the ground and like you're looking at clouds and shit like that, or at night with the stars. They form constellations, shit like Orion's belt and stuff like that. Like it's like we see design in natural things. That's the point. But they're explained through like natural phenomena and stuff like that, like freaking condensation and like star formation and other shit. That's the point. I mean, we see that for our species and from our perspective, we're pattern-seeking species. We see basic regularities in everything. That's why we could freaking trace it back to our experiences. Are we all in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's his face? He didn't come back.
Ooh,
Commando?
Commando, right?
Colonel Commando. Clockwork Commando.
Clockwork.
I like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
yeah, I tried messaging him.
Before you touch the door hinge.
Could be good.
That's right, YouTube. I just rhymed orange with orange, bitch. What you gonna do?
They said it couldn't be done, but there it is.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Just did it.
Yeah.
Fucking broke the ancient rule.
Good. Now you just have a few more unrhymable words to go.
Yeah, we just make up. Like we refine our language as we learn more about experience. That's just how it works.
Oh shoot! Wonder what his take will be on the video.
Welcome back, Tommy. I'm just gonna message you to come back in.
Hey, is that Prophet or Revelator? Is he coming back? I mean, I'll duck out and be more noble if I need to. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming back.
Staying here for now.
I mean, it's for me. It was first come, first serve. If he's not here and he's not coming back, I'm not gonna take up the time. Like,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, he should message me back when he's back.
Yeah, but it's all free and democratic and secular America.
I didn't even know the guy was in here. Where did B go? I thought B was in here.
She left.
Oh.
Did you see the freaky video?
I still don't consider that to be a freaky video. I mean, granted, it might be an informative video, but
I would say.
I guess we're dealing with shared divergence of meaning for the word freaky.
It looks like Obama turning into the devil.
Even if it
mine
has,
includes at least a nice pair of tits.
Even if it has logical, natural reasons behind it, it's still freaky.
No, you know what would be freaky? Actually seeing a pair of tits in the clouds. That I ain't seen.
Yeah, that'd be some.
That would be freaky.
Yeah.
Or a twerk. That would be like what?
That'd be freakier.
Yeah. Clouds twerking.
Yeah. But man, literally making it rain. Yeah. It will be
60 degrees, partly cloudy, and they're twerking.
Yeah. Holy shit.
We're gonna see it make it rain, Paul. Yeah.
It's the internet, man. Who knows what that vid was?
Just watch it. You know you want to.
Well, I mean, that's just the internet working as a wonderful canniness filter. I mean, there's millions of videos of clouds out there, and some guy found it, said, "Hey, whoa, that kind of looks like a face," and then it just multiplied from there.
That's how the whole story of Jesus walking on water started.
Yeah.
I don't think Tommy has seen it, has he?
The fucking guy's walking on water. Really? Yeah, man. I see it. And then next thing you know, the whole village thinks it. And then the town. And then now we got a fucking religion.
Yeah, I mean, he was working for the Jewish people to fight against the oppressive Roman regime, and there's a lot of mythology around the man.
What Rome did was they made it their own. They couldn't fight it, so they joined it.
Yeah. What part of history y'all talking about now?
The part where they were getting fucked by a bunch of religious people and thought, fuck it, let's go with the flow.
When Rome decided to force you, you will believe in our church, or we will publicly torture you.
Oh yeah. That's how it happened. Like religious wars and stuff like that. Like frickin' like bureaucracies going up and shit. I mean, any time it's taken as serious on the level of government, it always produces a hindrance to human rights. That's why you need those rational enlightenment principles to maintain a sense of equality amongst all groups in the zeitgeist.
You still can't force someone to believe, though. You can force someone to confess that they believe like you do, but that doesn't mean that you've forced them to actually change their belief in their head.
Yeah.
I mean, like honestly, like that sense of tribalism, either convert or die. It's a hindrance to the humans actually moving forward. It's more or less that that type of mindset that we're trying to overcome for the sake of I don't know, modernity. Maintaining that the idea of progress. I mean, it might
I'll
sound
be right back,
idealistic, but all right, yeah. We'll see you later.
Peace out.
And I mean, I know it might be idealistic, but there's a sense of doing better than the last generation. Just for the sake of it. I think that's real. Like what about you guys?
When it comes to religion, you mean?
No. I'm
Or just
talking
in
about
general?
I'm just like applying reasoning skills, just moving ahead for the sake of what will be right for more people.
I think that's the case anyway. I think humans have that capability to like do what's right. I shouldn't say do what's right because that's a bit stupid, but for like the benefit of the species, yeah, we do it very badly though. But we have got that thing going on. You can see it in everyday society. Everyone's trying to have a better life themselves, which filters into society itself in the majority of cases.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah. But like I said, we do that very badly anyway. So.
Yeah, like just like the reason, like I mean, you see like all the bad crazy stuff in terms of how religion can impact society if it's taken too seriously. So you have these restrictions, these rights and civil liberties put in place for the sake of producing some type of in a subjective basis to where people can enjoy these rights and and liberties and stuff like that. We can access knowledge through like science and technology and stuff like that. We can actually focus on what can make people happy. In terms of what just betters our experiences in situations over what makes us miserable, and that's something we should all strive for as 21st century people.
I think that would pose a problem though if it's just based on happiness, because what may make someone else happy may not make another person happy. Like, for instance, religious beliefs themselves. They can make somebody happy or they can make somebody miserable.
Actions. I just watched that face video again. And I actually saw a baboon first. Then I saw
Skinny tips?
big chops, those big baboon chops, a profile of a baboon and then the face of a man.
What happened in Canada?
Oh, it's a revelation of evolution. No, I'm just joking.
I put the full video in the chat.
It was an uncanny formation of clouds that looks like a human face, flat out. Now, could it have been enhanced? Who knows?
I'm thinking Photoshop might have been involved because it's really defined.
A little too. The nose got a little too pointed for me to believe it.
The nose and it opened its mouth. A little too defined for me.
How about that shroud of turban?
Huh?
Absolutely.
The shroud of turban. You guys ever heard?
Turbot? No, turret.
Yeah, no, my thoughts on it are that it's a fake.
Yeah, I think it's been proven it was a fake. It was like made in the 1200s, 1300s.
Yeah.
I'm back. What are we talking about now?
Yeah, but it's good for the tourism trade.
Two-shrouded turban.
The shrouded turban.
I mean, shit, we got a fake queen. People think she's still the queen. Sells.
When's that bitch gonna die already?
Oh,
She's a reptile,
John.
She's a reptile. She's not gonna die, dude. She's a space alien.
She's living forever. She's living forever.
God bless the Queen and all her sons. In the name of Christ Jesus. Yeah. Sorry.
She's a blue blood reptilian.
Well, you know what other videos that your video reminds me of, right?
What now?
Have you heard of those videos? You know, kind of like yours, where the people apparently they shapeshift into a reptile or something on YouTube.
Yeah, I used to be a little bit into those.
Yeah, like they get the eyes and everything.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm back. You guys talking about the turd of Sheridan or what now?
Turd.
Someone took a shit and didn't bother to like clean it.
Yeah.
Wiped it all over.
Oh look, big giant shit stain.
Only secular America.
The turd of Sharon.
Well, what am I smelling over here? Am I smelling disgust or fear?
Well, okay. So what are your thoughts about the non-standard gospels? So like, which ones do you think are the most interesting? Because I'm sure you guys have read some of them.
I can't be bothered on one particular holy book.
Oh, you know, well, sure. I mean, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, or the well, I think the Gospel of Judas was a fake one. That was I think that one wasn't really canon, or not canon. No, it was not written by the original Jews.
I got no idea.
Yeah, like I mean, like honestly, they were non-contemporary at the time. Like they were all like heresy. Like all the mentions of Jesus, like they were all mentioned decades after he supposedly lived.
Well, some of them were part of it originally. I think were stripped out by just after the years. Like and also I think there's the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. I think too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know. What do you guys? What are your kind of like most interesting?
I think the Gospel of Thomas is pretty interesting, as short as it is, because half of those sayings are in the, other Gospels, the original Gospels.
Interesting. I don't think I've read that one.
Yeah, it's only like 144 lines or something.
Oh, really?
144 sayings there.
It's really good, and it yeah.
I mean, I usually grant the possibility that historical. I mean, maybe there was like a historical person for which those stories are based. I don't think that necessarily they were born of a virgin or was a demigod or anything like that.
Right. Oh, I mean, we've been talking about, the Talpiot tomb that they found. You've heard of that time?
The Talmud.
No, the Talpiot tomb. It's the tomb where they found a whole bunch of ossuaries, and one of them, the statistics behind the names and such are kind of interesting. Yeah, and very, very likely the final resting place, if there was an actual historical Jesus, then very likely that was the tomb.
There is a theory that Thomas was his twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did they find a Thomas ossuary?
Crazy.
I don't know.
Because there is the other tomb that still has all those ossuaries. I really hope that they eventually dig those up, because that would be really interesting.
Yeah, Jesus aside, like you know what I found interesting? Like if you go back into the Old Testament, like a lot of the Old Testament prophets, like there's really no historical basis for them. A lot of them seem to be Iron Age creations, like if not based off of earlier stories from earlier Mediterranean belief systems.
Oh, yeah. Sure. There's been a lot of like symbolism and mythology that's been taken and used by many people. I mean, the swastika, right?
Oh yeah. Ripped off by them Germans from the Indians and stuff like that. Aryan race bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Actually a form of spirituality before that. We were actually doing like the symbol for Zeke Heil before like a certain point in history. We weren't necessarily saying Zeke Heil, but like we just stopped doing like the that type of salute. Where we're like pointing at.
The actual swastika itself's Indian. Does it sound
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only a finite amount of simple shapes that you can construct. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why
actually.
Guys, guess. Remember my famous moniker? I'm upside down cross boy. I'm Mr. Upside Down Cross.
Yeah,
Upside down cross.
yeah. I just thought of the whole
evil
Matt Slick thing
Satanist.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed.
when you were on the Bible Thumping Wingnut show.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should I go back on there just to fuck with them or what?
Yeah, I would do that. I went on there one time in November last year. It was funny as hell.
They say the same thing about you or what?
Oh no, that was before I had this profile picture.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he would have. I mean, maybe he would have, but like, he just did not like mine. I mean, but here's the interesting thing about that discussion. We're talking about Open Secular Day, right? Like, they didn't talk about the actual topic until I actually went in and asked. And like, he went on about like somebody, a couple of y'all mute. I don't hear myself.
Idol, I think you're the one that's you're echoing.
So what?
You have echo coming through.
Oh, it's coming
Yeah,
from
you could just mute. Okay, thanks, man. Yeah. So anyway, so he was talking about his religious liberty, right, and how his rights matter, but he was mad and offended. I mean, that I had like a picture of a wolf with an upside down cross. I mean, I'm like, and I should feel bad that that I'm hurting his feelings and he's being a rude, condescending asshole to me. I mean, like, what the fuck? This is ridiculous.
Tell him you're a Peterist.
Why would that why would that bother him if he believes in the Bible, which talks about wolves, and knows that you're an atheist? I don't see how that would bother him. Like, to me, it would almost like, in a way, a Christian can use that to try to confirm their position, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and also friggin' St. Peter got crucified on an upside down cross. So like, why are you not bitching about that? Yeah, they don't care at all.
Comment on that? There's actually a follow-up to what happened with Wolf that they talked about on the show when you were not there. When Christian Anarchist was a guest on there, and he kind of tried to bring up the symbolism thing. He talked about how basically Matt Slick believes since the symbol has changed its meaning in our culture now, it doesn't mean that anymore. Now it means something bad. Then that's the meaning he's going with.
Oh, so he's going by the world. He's going by that worldly knowledge, huh? Yeah. Changing with the world, Matt. You're fucking up, boy. Fucking up. You're gonna have to bring that up with you. Yeah. Yeah, you changing your mind about what the physical knowledge says. Tell him Jesus.
We should got some material to use when you go back on there.
I don't got Jesus' phone number. Oh. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, but I might have to, temporarily. I might have to use just like a temporary like puppet just for the sake of going back on there. I might shoot the shit with him for a minute, but don't be surprised if my patience with him was thinner than it was the last time, because I tried to be civil, but he was still an asshole. It's not surprising why his amazing daughter just disregarded him in general.
Oh.
Do any of the atheists in the room meditate?
I do.
What benefits have you found from it, Wolf?
It shows there's studies that show that it's beneficial to meditate as far as being a stress reducer and shit like that.
You meditate?
I used to, and I need to get back. I've been wanting to get back into it, but I haven't started yet. I usually meditate after I do yoga.
Well,
It's pretty cool that way because you get your blood pumping and energy flowing.
Get your chi going?
you may laugh at me, but I've been told that shit's satanic, so I stay away from it.
Oh yeah, just ask the vigilant Christian.
No, it was inevitable.
It's not satanic if you're an atheist.
Here's the thing, though, Keefe. I mean, if you're
Christian,
if you're believing something
too seriously either.
Well, if you're believing something that isn't true, though, you could be missing out on something that could bring you less stress or help you out if you are stressed out or just need to feel some type of peace or something. You could be missing out on that just
No, Eve, no. You need to stay away from all that yogi pogi bullshit.
Oh, I'm demon possessed now, ain't I?
All that
I got the Kundalini serpent spirit rising up in me.
Yeah, girl, you gonna get that demon in you, and it's gonna make you do some of that crazy shit. You're gonna want to be eating your children alive. You're gonna be sitting that. You're gonna be doing that. Kick dive off the damn roof. That's how.
Eve does that snake yoga.
Come on, what scriptural proof text is there for that, Wolf? Come on.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
in there right there. Read the scriptures now, sir. Read the scriptures now. It's in there. Them demons gonna get you. They're gonna possess you through them foreign practices that ain't Christianity, because you don't focus on it all the friggin' time, and so you're gonna get possessed because you don't focus on it all the time. So focus on it.
Plus,
That's a hell of a claim.
You wanna know what? You wanna know God?
And plus, who needs meditation when you've got antidepressants and kush?
You wanna know why God got so famous? He ripped off Jesus. Yeah.
Wolf, you've been drinking, Wolf.
No, I don't even be drinking that much. I like weed more.
I thought about the inquiry to this good panel. The inquiry that, quote, should I go back on Wingnuts channel? And now, I myself am allergic to the word should, but if you had posed that inquiry like this, would it be good for me to go back on Wingnuts channel? I might submit a response to you, such as, perhaps if it's amusing, or perhaps if it's good in your sight.
Why are you thinking of going on it?
We're getting a bit of an echo, bro.
If something feels good, do it. And in that case, if you feel like talking to those people, you go on and talk to those people. Secular America, that's all it's about, man. Speak your mind.
I'm curious what they think about me, because I haven't been on the show myself, but
they think you're an alien the same way they think I'm a demon, or at least like mad dumbass think I'm a demon.
Okay.
You're a wolf demon.
Yeah, I'm a demon.
Yeah. You have satanic influence.
To ask them to spark a conversation, so I'd have to think of a question.
Well, I think you personally seek to offend with that Antichrist thing, your demonic influence. Yeah. Oh my God, what a fucking loon! It's like I was on a damn Honest Prank fucking video. What the hell?
You go out of your way to offend me. You are such a piece of shit, Satanist.
Oh, jeez.
Why?
How naughty.
Well, actually, you could make that case for Abraham over here.
Yeah.
I think he told me once that you purposely do that.
No, actually.
Yeah, but his is like fucking. This is like moderate. I mean, like it's barely. I don't even see a satanic thing in there. I just see some upside down star.
Yeah, we can hear you, Eve.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we can all hear you. It's cool.
Yeah, but anyways, even if you look at the post when I uploaded my profile, you can actually see that I just put LOL. Put the pentagram in for shits and giggles.
Yeah, boy.
And
Looks
it's
like you're
worked
doing
so far. It's actually worked. I jumped into a hangout with Pillbox and
Oh God.
some other dude, and they instantly, that was like one of the first things they pointed out. They said I had like demonic influences. It was hilarious.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sit in a room with
Looks like you're.
tentacles
Looks
like
like
going
you're.
to hell.
I
Well,
do
we
remote
need to get you in
exorcism.
there with Matt Slick and see what happens.
I do remote exorcisms, 20% off this month, and even more for widows and orphans. So
There's people that actually pay for that. They do like webcam exorcism.
Oh wow, no way.
Hey Wolf.
Oh my! I don't even believe it, huh?
Like, I'm not even joking. There's like videos of this one pastor that does
You
like
better
webcam
sign up.
exorcisms.
You better sign up for Tommy's exorcism because according
And
to Matt Slick, he got
I think
so
it was
good.
it was in the news or something. You just see this video of this one guy going fucking ape shit.
if you catch me in a good mood, I might even do it for free.
I think I could probably believe that because I remember this one time, this Benny Hinn shit, where they were all okay. I saw it on like this Hey Scotty video, and freaking like the whole congregation and stuff like fell back in like this really badly orchestrated way. It was bad, like they rehearsed it, and it's like that. Like Street Fighter has better graphics, man.
It might have been on TYT.
Don't you think?
Years ago.
No, don't you think it would be cool if they took that Benny Hinn where he like blows on people and made a bad breath Mentos commercial?
That would work. That'd be
That would
awesome.
be great. Yeah, that would be great.
There's
Like
a-
have the people slain in the spirit holding up Mentos.
There's a Preacher Street Fighter video. You could probably just find it on YouTube under that, where it shows a whole bunch of clips of preachers doing these things. They cast out demons and people faint, and it's all done to Street Fighter graphics and music. It's really good. Are you okay? All these uppercut. You win. You know, it's pretty good.
That's funny.
I swear, the internet, so much stupid shit on the internet.
Have you guys seen Exodus: Gods and Kings?
No, I just
I
got
don't
through
think I have.
watching Noah, but I'm not going to watch that one. Not well, yeah, I will, but no.
Is that,
It-
the one
it
with,
was-
is that the one with Colin Fallon or whatever his fucking name is? Farrell.
No, it's Christian Bell played as Moses.
Oh,
bad.
okay. No.
Is he
It was
related to Matt
really.
Bell?
I try and stay
good.
away from any biblical type movies.
So,
Oh, I loved it because, well, this is produced by an agnostic, so, which I think Noah was as well. So, both Noah and this movie, they kind of made Noah and Moses both look psychotic,
really?
and which
Fun
pissed
choice.
off, some of the Christians out there. And then he also kind of made it look like some of the events, like the plagues, were just could have been naturally done from warfare, and there could have been different explanations for it.
Sure.
So it was pretty cool,
So you thought Noah was psychotic?
huh?
You thought Noah, the Noah movie, you said that they made Noah psychotic?
I think they made him look psychotic.
Oh yeah,
Along
for
with-
sure. That was a big plot in the middle. He was going crazy, plotting people's deaths.
Was gonna kill the
No.
baby.
Yeah, that was nowhere. Yeah, that was. I mean, I study with the Hebrew folks, so both those movies are so far gone.
Yeah, I didn't really like the Noah movie, actually. I thought it kind of sucked.
I liked it, but I think that this one that I'm talking about is better.
It's
I
the
like
best
the whole
Noah movie
giant
ever
rocks.
made.
Shit.
Yeah, you gotta like the rock people.
Yeah, they were awesome.
The
There was
Watchers.
some great aspects to the movie, but anything historical or whatever that Russell Crowe gets his hands on. Robin Hood, lousy.
Wow, that was crap. Best Robin Hood was the fucking old one with Bryan Adams theme music to go with it. Who the fuck was it? God, I can't remember his bloody name now. The guy out of
Kevin Costner.
yeah, Kevin Costner. That's it. That was the best Robin Hood.
You like it? My favorite was
Well-
Robin of Sherwood, the BBC series. That
I
one-
liked Robin Hood, but I don't think that Kevin Costner is necessarily a good actor. I just think that he plays good roles.
No, I just think that was the best Robin Hood I've seen, in a sense, because obviously it's English. You get loads of different types. That was the most, like, closest one to, like, being...
Dude,
Okay.
that's such an insult to the classic animation Robin Hood, man.
Man,
Didn't even
if you're
start as an
talking, if you're
animation.
talking about like best biblical movie, you gotta look at like the DreamWorks Prince of Egypt, man.
Prince of Egypt. I actually seen that movie. Honestly, it's like songs aside. Yeah. I don't even give a fuck. It was a cute movie. Like despite the fact that it was based on myth.
I
I
cried.
didn't think it was that great.
Really?
It was cute. It was cute.
I cried a few times. It was
I remember-
it was the only
Okay.
Moses movie I've ever seen where they put so much emotion into it. You never
Which?
really get to feel
What
Moses.
movie is that?
the
Moses?
Prince. It was a DreamWorks first animation movie.
Sons of Benaiah,
What the fuck?
No, I mean like that was sort of like the rhythm to like one of the songs.
You probably
Oh,
cried
okay.
like fucking Lion King then and shit.
Shut up, son.
I was way.
That was
Leave.
what's your version of Lion King?
Oh boy.
The humming
Just,
game.
The classic.
Just like a bunch of gibberish and then something solemnia.
I was just trying to take y'all back to the classic days of DreamWorks before the 3D stuff.
3D shit.
Has anybody here seen the most controversial Christian film ever made called The Last Temptation of Christ?
Nope.
That's
Yep.
the most controversial.
Heard of it, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, I saw
I
it.
thought Life of Brian
don't
was the
know
most
if I've seen it or
controversial
not.
Christian film ever made.
William
That's just
Dafoe-
my opinion, though.
William Dafoe plays Jesus.
Oh wow,
Bobby
that's gonna be bad.
Keitel is Judas. David Bowie is Pontius Pilate. Barbara Hershey is Magdalene, and it was probably the most awesome ever. Jesus
I was gonna say
has
that's an
sex.
awesome cast.
Jesus has sex in that movie. He gets it on with Magdalene. It's the greatest film ever.
Awesome.
Oh, there we go. You just killed
Dan
all the
Brown
Christians
shit.
right
Or
there.
some Dan Brown shit.
Jesus, getting it on.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that was a
Nail
big
it
movie back in the day.
across.
Guess he for a second coming,
Jesus,
huh?
take the wheel.
Oh, 33-year-old
Fox
version.
News had to say about that.
Huh?
Shit.
See
Yeah.
that coming.
See what you did there,
Yeah.
Wolf.
Jesus meets
You
Paul.
seen that coming, Sty?
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
it's worth
Listen,
it.
if Jesus is nailing bitches to crosses, just saying. You know something's going on.
Mary Magdalene, get on your knees and pray for Christ.
Yeah, because I'm about to come back, Lord.
Oh, Madonna did that in a video a few years back.
That's true.
Been
Madonna
there.
did a lot of stuff in videos.
I heard she was interested because she heard Jesus was hung.
Leave.
Blasphemy! You're going to hell.
But that's
Jesus
where all the
walks
cool
in-
people are.
Did
Surely.
Jesus walks into a hotel room, lays down 3 knives or 3 sticks, and says, "Hey, can you put me up for the night?" So,
Was it too soon, guys? Is it too soon?
I think 2,000 years is a good wait.
just think, we've got how far we've come. 500 years ago, we'd be burned at the stake for talking like this.
Oh,
Yep.
surely the truth has a sense of humor.
Mm.
How long were we in that stage for? Like 900,000 years, something like that.
Well,
we was in that.
forced to be in that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Heresy started in like I think it was the 12th century, something like that. In a sense, like you will literally die in the name of God
So
because God loves you. Fucking die. Yeah, that makes loads of sense.
It was about the time the Jews were saying the universe was 16 billion years old, and a few other things. Oh, time to kill the Jews, make an example. It's what we're going to do. Scientists, look out. You're wrong.
Watch out.
Galileo had it easy. Really did compared to some other people.
Well, we can say that the church has not always been persecuted. A lot of times it was them doing the persecuting. So
Yeah, people didn't persecute each other. The authorities persecuted people.
Yeah, still do today.
Yeah.
In different ways. They just use tax and propaganda this time, though.
Mm-hmm.
They did then too.
No, but then they just literally told you the deal. Like now, because of all the revolts of the past and stuff like that, they did a bit more sly these days. So that's the thing. People don't notice that governments are just the same idiots that we had, like kings and queens and all that shit. You know, it's because they took the chains off your ass doesn't mean that you're free.
politics and religion goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hey, my kingdom is persecution free. I'm happy to announce.
I like your
Yay.
kingdom. I'll take that. That's a nice start.
Got a parking spot for you. Stop by anytime. Free beer and chicken.
Thank you.
Persecution-free zone.
I've made my discussions evolution-free zones. You're not allowed to discuss evolution in any room that I host. If you bring up evolution, you're out. I don't care if you're for or against it. Not like I won't block you for good, but you won't be able to hang out.
Oh, okay.
Why is that?
Well, good thing you're not hosting this room then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Why is that? Just for shits and giggles, or is it because it's like?
It goes nowhere.
Well, only goes nowhere when.
Selection, you do have. Just kidding.
I mean,
Well, I was gonna say, it only goes nowhere though when you got like a retard in the room who doesn't accept evolution. That's all.
Right. Someone who did their quote unquote research.
Like Tommy Hall. Woo.
Well, they did.
I did my
They
research.
just did different type of research.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're a biologist? What?
I think
no, I know more than you. I did my research.
Both sides really have a problem because half the people who are arguing pro-evolution, anti-religion are quite often 50-50 on science and speculation. And a lot of stuff that comes out of their mouth isn't verifiable, has never been verified. And the same thing with I see on the anti-evolution
Well, that depends, 'cause
religion
sometimes
side,
people
I find more
don't know.
people who don't actually understand their Bible that they claim is theirs.
Well, that's a fault on both sides, because you have people fighting on both sides that don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yes,
And then
sir.
when you bring in the biologists and the Bible scholars, that's when shit gets real.
Yep.
And everybody has to stop arguing at that point.
Yeah, everybody just walks away, and that's where
Yeah.
belief comes into it. Then
Either that, or they block you and then call you out and make it look as if you're running. Cough, Nephilim period. Cough, cough.
Gotta start bringing these experts to the evolution rooms then.
I mean, we do have a few, not a lot, but we have a
I
few.
don't think you need to be an expert. You just need a good grasp of reality to understand that we didn't come from fucking God's fucking
Well, I mean,
magical wishful
most of
thinking.
the most of the arguments against evolution can be answered if you take a high school level course in evolution.
No.
What?
No.
I just took
Sorry, I don't know what school you went to, but just no.
No.
I just took
Yeah,
a
no.
I'm so glad
biology
creationism
course.
is banned in the UK. Seriously.
I just took a college biology course fall semester of this past year, and I
Well, I mean-
still cannot convey it the way that I would like to be able
Well, I mean,
to convey it.
most of the topics are usually on simple ass shit like I'm trying to think like I don't know, like codons. Sometimes they don't understand codons. They think that DNA is like computers or some shit. When it's
That's the only way we kind of
Protein
rationalize it.
That does sound in depth.
Well, I mean, they teach you that. They literally teach you that in like, I think one of the courses is honors biology, which isn't
Really?
even that high level. Yeah.
In high school level?
Yeah.
So what is everyone complaining about?
I have no idea.
That's right
I mean,
there.
I learned that a few years ago, and that was like one
Well-
of the lower level courses for biology.
It could be a communication issue because like I said, for me, I have a hard time in that subject being able to convey my thoughts or knowledge on it.
Or a lot of the people that are the regular players just don't care. Like I know some of them that I've seen since the Stickam days in 2007 using the same arguments and explained over and over again. Like there's people they just don't care. They're just here to argue and
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I would like to, if evolution isn't real and God isn't real, please explain life in a coherent way where you get different species of animals and bugs and biology and bacteria. Explain that for me without evolution, and you got my attention. Oh wait, you can't.
Well, it's simple. You see, kind bring forth after the kind. There you go. Boom.
That's a Bible trick.
Yeah, but even the Bible says, and all the commentaries from thousands of years ago said that life began on Earth with everything it needed already in the Earth.
Yeah, that's because it was made from the same shit the Earth is.
So when we see the development of life,
where does the Bible say that?
Or via Genesis 1, you're going to see the same process.
Where does the Bible say that, though?
Huh?
Where does the Bible say that, though?
There are only 3 creations in Genesis 1. The only 3 creations is this: Genesis 1, light, and man's soul. The rest is a development. Everything else after light is a development.
Well,
so where does it say that all of this stuff was already present and necessary?
That would be from Talmudic commentary about 1,000 to 2,000 years ago.
Okay, so it's just kind of implied there. It's not really stated there.
And in Genesis 1, the reason why you don't hear God creating fish and fowl or seedlings or the land drawing forth life. Where's the land going to draw forth life from? It's already in the air and the water, obviously.
Well, from what we know from science, but not the religion.
It doesn't say that God created it. It just said let it happen. In other words, it was developing without God making physical contact with the world or having to utter it in. It was happening naturally. And they came up with this 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, but this is the problem. How can something naturally occurring and then God interacts? This is the problem. God has to be a thing in order for him to contribute to the system, so to speak. You can't have one without the other. That's like saying I can think of a cup of tea, and the cup of tea already exists because it's naturally a cup of tea. It's just no. I think people misunderstand the universe and what people think God is, in my opinion anyway, but whatever. Science has got nothing to do. The physical reality has got nothing to do with what people believe it to be. That's an opinion. It doesn't, I could have an opinion that the color blue is the color red. It doesn't make it true. In that regards.
I would agree with that. I think that when you start putting ideas on God, you're screwing the whole notion of it up. The moment you start finding God in any way, shape, or form.
Welcome to the Hangout.
That is true.
Well, why even attempt to say that there is a God or define it in the first place, then?
Lack of knowledge for a start, and fear of death. That's 2 good reasons.
I think that's not good reasons. It's fallacious reasons. It's an argument from ignorance.
Well, it is. It's not ignorance. It's not knowing. You can't be ignorant of the unknown, Eve.
No, what it is, what I mean by argument from ignorance is it's saying that since we don't know about these things, then God.
I think
that's exactly what happens, though. That's exactly what happens, Eve.
Religion, for the most part, is just a fear construct.
Yeah, it's not ignorance, Eve. That's what it's in human beings to wonder about the universe. I'm not
saying it's ignorance. It's a fallacy, is what I'm saying. It's a name of a fallacy. It's fallacious. It's not logical.
I personally think that mankind naturally leaps beyond logic and reason to solve problems. I think when you fine-tune that ability or that faculty, that weirdness, you can make good use of it.
Because
the
I mean, pretty much everyone holds fallacious ideas, but when they hold those ideas, they're not thinking, oh, does this make sense from a logical point of view? No, of course not. They're gonna think of how it applies to them in their life, and whether or not it works.
And if it works, then, you know, if it makes you a better person, if it makes you want to make the world a better place, I'd say it works for you.
Yeah.
Right.
At the base level, you know.
Yeah, right. Which is why I say, to an extent, if religion helps someone, then that's good for them. But if it hurts someone else, that's not good for them.
Well, how far can you take that then? If someone,
Well, it's a case by case basis. If one person is affecting a slew of others, then obviously that's not good.
one person, no matter how good they perceive religion, no matter how good their message, can affect tons of people.
Well, I'm saying
for
it's good
instance,
for them. Oh, go ahead.
Blasphemy. Men with the snake, people.
For instance, I don't even know if I'm talking right. Anyways, like a fundy position for it. A fundy does not necessarily have to come from a fundy family. A fundy can derive from a moderate family. It depends on how serious they take their beliefs and what they how do I define this? What I'm saying is, even no matter how positive someone looks at religion, if they give it that validity that it's true, they can pass that on to others, including their offspring. And that offspring may not see it in a positive way. So where's the line drawn? I mean, you could say, well, it's not harmful to them and it's not harmful to others. Well, you don't really know that. It actually could be harmful to others.
I think it depends on your religion too. And you know, you have to let the offspring has to find his way as well.
Yeah, I think
which is why I was saying
the issue. If he finds his way and it's a negative way, then there's a problem, right?
That's going to be. Can't blame the parents did the best they could to raise a good person.
Well, I mean, you still got to let people make their own decisions. I mean, if it's affecting someone else, that can be a problem. But my original point was that if it helps an individual, so what they want, then that's all fine and dandy with me. If it's hurting someone else, that was where the issue lies.
So it doesn't matter if it's true or not, as long as it's a false hope that can help someone.
People have false hopes.
Well, I mean, again, it doesn't matter if it's a false hope. If it's genuinely helping the person, it doesn't really matter. I mean,
So
isn't that the whole
you don't
point?
think that it would be better for a real hope to help the person instead of a false hope?
I mean, obviously, it would be better, but is it realistic? Is the question.
Why wouldn't it be realistic?
Just because you tell a child.
I think you're getting caught up on the whole idealistic part there, Eve. I mean, fucking hell, when Gandhi said he's going to fight the British Empire using peace, everybody fucking laughed at him. India's no longer a part of the British Empire. So, you know, being idealistic sometimes does the job in that regards to what people think is futile actually does work in practicality terms. It's just the way people are, you know. I agree, you know, I don't go around telling people they can't believe in God. You know, it's their business if they want to believe that. I don't think it's logical myself in the sense of how it affects human beings in the right direction, but as long as they're not harming me or anybody else, even though that's kind of ironic to say.
Well, that's where I would say that it is harming humanity.
Well,
no, people harm people. Religions don't. Get that. Make sure you understand that properly, please.
Die, baby.
Religious beliefs, especially, okay, for one, people wrote the religious text, and they have a meaning behind those texts. So
they have an intent.
Yeah, see, I would disagree, because if the religion is centered around harming people, then the religion is harmful.
It doesn't have to be centered around it.
Well, I mean, you know, Islam is a perfect example of this, where, you know, it was born in blood and by the sword. And, you know, we're kind of seeing the repercussions of that to this day. So.
Well, so did Christianity. I mean, we've seen problems with that as well. It's just
Yeah,
not that
like
way.
500
the
years
broad,
ago.
The broad brush
Yeah,
atheist, I think,
yeah,
is unfair now.
like 500 years ago. Yeah. So you're comparing Christianity 500 years ago to Islam today. Good job.
Ireland.
Yes, because the reason why I am is because I don't think it should be forgotten that that occurred.
Who's
and
forgetting
that
that?
No, no, hold on. Islam.
I didn't say anybody was forgetting it. I'm just saying I don't think it should, and that's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
Right, but I mean, it's like comparing apples to 500-year-old oranges. I mean,
not atheist.
okay.
That's how we grow and learn, is to look at our past.
Yeah, and Islam's never been through a reformation. Fucking Christianity has. I mean,
Yeah,
shit,
it
read the
really
history
sucks.
book.
That's why
but you can't
Islam needs to go through a
compare.
reformation.
If one's been through a complete rejection of the society, where the other one really hasn't, it nearly kind of happened with the whole
No, but
Muslim uprising thing. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
this
it's called.
this was to the point that religions can't be harmful. It's the people. Well, like I said, if the religion is centered around harm, then the religion is harmful by definition.
Right.
No, it's
and,
not. It's your
and that's another thing.
Really, is Islam is not a violent death cult meant to be spread by the sword?
I'm pretty sure there's over 1 billion Muslims. I don't see 1 billion Muslims come to kill Christians, do you?
I think
right, but
the issue
again,
here is
you're looking at the people who are doing terrorism. I think last year, 99.7% of them were committed.
Yeah, and I'll just give you a nice quote.
So I would say that the religion obviously
one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. You should know that quote.
The religion calls for it. That's what I'm asking for.
But that's not a good point. That's like the same point that Eve made earlier, that 500 years ago there were crusades. I mean, you can't really pin that on someone in the modern day.
Yeah, like slavery.
Right, but we're talking about the effects that religion can have, and the Old Testament, God was a war god, and the New Testament God was a pacifist.
And look, Jews haven't caused any harm. So
Jews cause harm as well. I mean, look at the.
Okay. Well, really, I mean, okay. So can you go to the?
Look at the circumcision that they're doing to their children.
Show me a pure ideology. Show me a pure ideology.
Well, sure, but can you go to the terrorism statistics and show me, Jewish terrorism?
I'm
on the
not
rise?
talking about on a scale of Islam. I'm just saying that yes, there's.
I mean,
there's
or
harm.
Quakers,
If you can let me
Mennonites.
finish, I'm just saying
Okay.
that yes, there can be harm from the Jewish religion, and I used the example of the circumcisions on their children.
Okay, but this is comparing to shooting people in the streets.
No, I'm not comparing shit. You're the one comparing shit. All I'm saying is that what my point was is that the religion is dangerous. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Well, Christianity and Judaism hardly these days. They've got their.
Wood is an
They've
orphan.
been very defanged, and so.
I disagree. I just don't think it's on a grander scale.
I mean, honestly, I will agree with Eve in the sense that these religions, when taken way too seriously, have the potential to be dangerous if given too much power. That's why we have it. That's why we have in at least this country we have it constitutionally secular, so that all these worldviews have the equal basis and equal voice.
Tell that to the people.
Look at the Africans that were killing their children because they were deemed as witches.
Yeah, and freaking killing albino kids for their fucking.
For now we have a secular court, but in the UK they've already instituted Sharia courts where things are decided by Sharia law. So
I can't speak for what I can't speak for what the fuck they're doing in the UK. Like,
no, but what I'm saying is that you're saying that that the religion is not inherently harmful. Which, I mean, if we can also go through the Quran and count how many harmful verses there are and how many helpful verses there are. And
I just mentioned. Hold on, I've just mentioned to you the Reformation. There's still shit in the Bible.
And you think that they would come out differently?
It's crazy. I mean, come on.
Actually, they do, Eve. They do.
Yeah, I mean,
Give me the evidence for
you
that.
can find a bunch of horrendous, archaic shit in like these holy books. I mean, that's why we've moved ahead of it as.
No, I agree. But when you look at the percentages, it seems pretty overwhelming in the Islamist side. That
I mean, yeah, it's a good point, right? I mean, this is the thing. A lot of Americans who are like biblical go, the King James Bible. It was authorized. And people just miss that word out when you read the top. It's authorized by King James for a reason. He left shit out for a reason.
Exactly.
You gotta understand.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, he left shit out because the plebs revolted and they didn't like the idea of being stoned and all that other crazy shit.
Right, and you're absolutely right, and the Muslims haven't done that yet.
That
And
would end the
actually,
Bible.
they're going one step further and saying that actually this is the unalterable word of God, and Muhammad is his prophet.
Yeah, and you still get fundies all across America who say, I mean, fucking abortions and all that shit, and it's the same shit. It's just different levels of insanity that rule over your interpretation of any said book.
Okay.
If I remember correctly,
you get Buddhists to burn themselves.
Sty. Okay, you wanna do an apples to apples comparison, Sty?
Nope, I don't.
Since I remember, I think the 1970s or 80s, the amount of people who have died from abortion bombings is 18. The last one I think was in 2009, and before that was in the 90s. So if you want to talk about the constant the pending trouble of abortion bombings, and there's millions of people who think that abortion bombings should happen and that this is a glorious thing and done in the name of God, and all the Christians are agreeing with this. That's not the case.
Christians started both World War I and World War II. What's your fucking point?
I don't think that anybody's really arguing against what you're saying as far as the grand scale Islam being the problem, more of a problem religion than Judaism or Christianity. I don't think that anybody has tried to say that.
I agree.
But
that's
at the same time, there is even Christians who, and I could even pull up on here on Google Plus. This is why Ozzy made a video about this. There are even Christians, moderates, not even the fundies, who basically supported this idea that when the cartoonists were were killed, whatever, they brought up this idea that blasphemy is wrong, and basically.
Oh yeah, no, right, but they're not the majority.
Well, most religious people,
I
they just
think
don't want to say
that this type of thought is a majority.
No. Actually, the type of thought is actually we should be careful about what we're saying, otherwise we might offend the Muslims.
Point. No, we're gonna offend. No,
that's not what was being said. What was being said.
Really? I can give you tons of videos.
Wait a minute. I can agree with
secular
you.
Individuals.
I'm just saying that's not what was said in this particular instance.
No, I know.
But I can agree that is. Pretty much the thought, but that is because of the fact that they do not want their own religious belief questioned. And so if they don't want their own religious belief questioned, they're going to defend other religious beliefs that are...
You misunderstood me. These were secular individuals who were saying that for our own sakes we shouldn't be offending the Muslims, or Charlie Hebdo should have known it was coming.
Well, they shut up anyone with a fucking brain.
Oh, okay.
I agree that there's secular leftists that are, with that.
So you picked out the religious right, and I picked out the secular left, and
there's a reason why I brought up the religious right saying that, and it's because of their own religious beliefs, and that's what we're discussing. We're discussing the dangers of religious beliefs, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about any set religion. I think you're trying to say, well, Islam's worse. No, I'm telling you,
quite a bit.
They're both as bad as each other.
No, they're not.
I mean, all of this is contingent. This is all contingent on the actions of people.
And I did say that.
You have to keep that in mind.
I don't think that they're
because there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum of beliefs. You can have some people who are very weak on the spectrum, and they don't have they don't have very strong beliefs that cause them to commit horrendous acts. But then at the other extreme, you have people who will commit horrendous acts.
I mean,
Well,
You
even
can't
then,
just you can't just all lump them in because some of them really don't hold some of those beliefs.
well,
But this is the thing as well,
And
though.
those people should be pushed forward as idols or not idols, leaders in the Islam community, but they're not. The current people who are the leaders of the Islam community are highly anti-Semitic. They say that apostates should be killed, gays should be hanged. And I posted a link here from Wikipedia, a list of terror incidents just in this year, 2015, not even last year, just in 2015.
I
We
think
go down the line: Boko Haram,
Hillary wants to jump in.
militant. You know, there's a very big quantitative difference that we have to face here.
Yeah, and it's
tiptoeing around.
9/11
Wait! I was almost done. Tiptoeing around the problem isn't going to help.
Don't think anyone's tiptoeing. I think you're making a bigger deal of one religion than another, in my opinion. I should know. My country was blown up by the Irish Republican Army all the time, and America didn't do shit, and they're Catholics, in case you didn't fucking know that shit.
I could. Well, okay, so the Americans needed to help because it's America.
Guys, Hillary's been waiting for a while. I think she wants to jump in.
Hi, Hillary.
Fuck's sake. Hey,
You might have to turn you up a bit. Let me turn your mic up. We can barely hear you.
Oh, okay.
There you are.
that better?
A little better.
I find it really strange that there is this dichotomy between belief and action. For some reason, there are some people who think that their belief is a reason for their action.
You don't think belief
Well,
could guide action?
beliefs are operative.
Yep.
Agreed.
I was gonna say a while ago. I think that I agree with Sty that I don't find one religion better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But that currently in this day and age, I will agree with. I'm sorry, is it ISIS?
ISIS.
ISIS.
He's a terrorist.
Right. I mean,
I will agree that the main problem, the main religious destroyer or whatever, is Islam. But I think what Stai's point was, and what my point is that all three of the Judaism or all three of the Abrahamic religions can be just as dangerous and just as damaging.
Absolutely. And I guess this is where we kind of all agree, where I'm not defending either of the other two Judeo-Christian religions, and it doesn't matter to me that if it's specifically a Judeo-Christian religion such as the Muslims. I mean, if it was Taoists or Quakers or Lutherans that were causing a massive series of bombings across the entire globe, then I would have a problem with that specific group. And I think that the thing that's causing that is their beliefs. And
no, it's not. This is why you got to take historical context in its place. And it's always happened with religion. There's always some historical context behind the rise and fall of religions in regards to whatever they get up to. Now, we all know the day in which the Muslims came to get us, 9/11. Ever since that day happened, it's been non-stop Muslim fest on the TV. Seriously. That's all I've seen since 9/11, Muslims. Because before that, I never heard shit about any Muslims. The odd bombing, right? But it wasn't nothing spectacular because we were still getting blown up by the IRA kind of thing or whatever. So, and Spain was still getting blown up by ETA. So it wasn't a big deal until 9/11. Even ETA and the IRA was like, oh shit, that's a big terrorist attack. Like, wow. They even shit themselves at that point. So you got to understand the context in which it came. And it boasted a lot of retards to think that, we're Muslims and we're on the fucking crusades again and people went batshit crazy, you
Well,
know, and everyone went crazy after 9/11 because it was the most
There's
craziest
even-
event in our lifetime. Seriously.
So did the
It-
West
it
create
even
a
goes-
boogeyman?
It,
Yeah,
it
they
even
did, man.
goes
Osama bin
deeper.
Laden.
It even goes deeper and before that, because I think what should be brought up and remembered is that religion and politics go hand in hand. And something that you will hear a lot from Muslims is that they feel like the United States has invaded them and taken over or attempting to take over Muslim countries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just their beliefs. I think that their beliefs has a huge part to play in it, but it's not just their beliefs.
Okay, so if that's the
leading
case,
them, hold on, that's leading them to do the shit that they're doing.
sure, but if that's the case, then where are all...
if I may, it goes back to what Sty quoted earlier. You know, one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist.
Actually,
You
that
know,
came from Che Guevara.
Who's the greater terrorist, the ISIS or the West?
Well, the West, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling
I mean,
pheasants. If it's
well,
the
the guy who was the head of the CIA at the time, I think his name was Clark. I'm not sure if it was Wesley Clark. I think he's a general, but his name was
Can I
Clark.
have my say
something.
really quick?
Yeah, go on, ISIS. Go on.
Yeah, Eve, if that's the case, then where are all the radical Latin American freedom fighters? I mean, the U.S. had all these massive campaigns through, Latin America, and yet we don't see any radicalized
Maybe
bombings
they
and
weren't as
really, or okay, what about Vietnamese?
maybe they just weren't
or
as I don't
any of these
know, as
countries?
resistant. Maybe they weren't as resistant.
Oh, so what do you mean by that?
What I mean is that I think that we have made choices as a country that were not good choices, that made other Muslim countries feel like they were invaded, and that we
I
stepped
agree
in when we shouldn't have stepped in.
Well, I agree that quite a lot of this has to do
on the dark
with.
side. They said we're going to fight this on the dark side. They let us know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that a lot of this has to do with blowback from the meddlings in the intelligence community, but there is something particular about the Islamists, because, like I said, there's been a lot of other countries that the U.S. has invaded, and we're not getting this kind of crazy jihad from any of them. So if that was the case, that they're and it's not, they're not saying that they're attacking us because of the Gulf War or something like that. They're attacking us because of their belief in jihad.
Well, they are saying it, though. They're saying both. And that's
Really?
my
Have you
point.
looked at the Pew polls and the things that they're actually saying, not what you think they are?
It's not what I think they are. I've been seeing
people
the
take opinion
interviews with the
polls.
most fundamentalist Muslims.
Well, like
Would you like for me to pull one up for you where he mentions that the West?
Yeah, Bin Laden. One of Bin Laden's complaints was that the U.S. had like an air base in the Holy Land, right? So
yeah.
You got to understand. I mean, this thing's been going on for years. I mean, hold on. In fact, I'm gonna just stop.
I'll let you all go around in a big circle, say three things, and then I'll respond to one of them.
Hold on. I just remembered what I was just going. I think Hillary wanted to speak actually because she had a hand up. So Hillary, do you want to shoot first before I actually interject?
Yes, thank you, Sai. I really honestly think that belief is the most dangerous thing on the planet, and I have been saying this for about 30 years. Because belief puts you in a place where you cannot objectively understand where you are.
Faith. That's not belief. But I believe that, if I drop my pencil, it's going to fall to the ground. I don't have faith.
I think you know what she meant.
Well, I'm trying to be concise.
I kind of agree with her because if you have a belief, it puts you in a position to move forward with that belief and act on it. So
that
let me
was my point. Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean,
I have the belief that if I sell my car, I'll get some money, and I go.
If you had absolutely no belief in existence, would that cause you to act in a rational way, like in the way that you conduct yourself?
Or even atheists have a belief. That's you know.
Well,
There is
I
a-
am,
True.
I am an autistic person, so I perceive information coming from the outside world in a very different way than the vast majority of people do.
It's not that different.
Yeah, you can. You
Yeah,
can
that depends on where they are on the
I mean,
spectrum.
I mean, if it was vastly different, I mean, you'd be a vegetable. You have concepts of causality and language and all these kind of things. So I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say vastly
Okay.
different because you actually you know what we're talking about and we can understand you. So maybe I think what you're saying is you
She's on a
maybe
different.
don't articulate it the way you would like to, or maybe you don't interpret what we're saying the way.
Autism
I
is
don't
a
know,
spectrum, so
Well,
considering
Michael
her
calls autism, he doesn't
individual,
even speak. He just nods and shit. and
considering
blinks.
her individual place on the spectrum, I would agree with you. But to suggest that it's not vastly different for others that are severely autistic is utter bullshit.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
I know
what
autism.
percentage is vastly? I mean, are her senses so jumbled? I mean, 90% jumbled, 60%
She
jumbled?
didn't say
What do you
jumbled.
mean
She
by
said that she
jumbled?
just.
Wasn't
Autistic. Autism
is non-neurotypicalism? Yes. So
And
you're
you-
not.
and you just
Let her speak.
interrupted me in me trying to explain what you purported to be interested in, so then I can only assume that you are not actually interested in the autism spectrum.
I'm not sure why you're accusing me of that, but okay.
Because it
you
seems that
just
you've.
Because you said
Really?
jumbled.
I
She
let
said,
you. So are
well,
you gonna actually
Aces,
say
Aces,
what you're going to say, or are
hold
you
on.
just gonna,
Aces.
complain
Aces.
about? Well,
Aces.
Abraham, I'm trying to talk with her. Are you just gonna complain, or are you gonna, say what you were gonna say?
ISIS just don't.
I don't think I was complaining.
Really? I let you complain.
ISIS, drop it, lad.
shit.
Drop it.
I don't think it was complaining either. She was bringing up what she
Yeah,
thought
man.
Alright, just drop it.
Drop it.
Okay.
Yes,
Alright,
please
back
drop
to
it.
the
Guys,
topic,
you're
please.
interrupting Hillary. Guys, you're
No,
interrupting
no,
Hillary.
no. Back to the
Don't.
no. I'm laying down the law now, bitches. All right, drop it. Go back to the topic we was discussing. Drop it. Go back
I
to the
have-
religious belief
I
thing.
agree. Thank you. Let's stop talking about Hillary.
It was, when you said belief and faith, I think that, I mean, this wasn't my idea. It was Bob Wands. He used to be a predominant guy on YouTube, Buddhist guy. He said that faith based on evidence is wisdom. Faith based on belief is credulity.
Yeah.
Like you can have faith the sun will come up tomorrow, but that's based on the wisdom that you've accumulated, the evidence. You've accumulated, and that faith drives you. You know the sun's going to come up tomorrow. You set your alarm to face it every day, kind of a thing. Faith based on belief is credulity. You know what I mean? I was trying to. That's the first thing that came to my mind when she spoke. So I had to. When you said get back to it, I figured that might help.
I think it really just goes back to harm and intention. And
Tension is a very powerful thing.
yeah, if you intend to harm other people and don't have a good excuse, you will find a good excuse in belief
Well,
and call it belief. I really think it goes back to intention and belief, and that is how I see it as an autistic person.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I do to a certain extent, but I don't think that it's always the case. I think I very much agree with Steven Weinberg that said, there's good and bad people on both sides, but it takes religion for a good person to do a bad thing. I don't think that someone can have perfectly good intentions and still be harmful to someone else.
I think you guys are overestimating. I mean, most religious people, they're not, they're not bad people, and they're not doing bad things. It's just they believe things that we don't, but they're not bad. I don't see. I mean, say somebody goes to prison, right, and they convert to Islam, and they stop being a thief and a criminal. I mean, who's being hurt by that, right? Or they convert to Christianity. I mean, at that point, who's being hurt by that?
Well, that's why I'm saying I think you gotta remove somewhat the religious from people, because there's more people die in America, right, who are so-called religious people who don't actually see themselves as religious, but they would be counted as religious given a statistical analysis of the United States, which is kind of ironic, right? So you do have to remove, technically, religion sometimes when dealing with the actual overall problem of what does a belief entail, especially when it comes to God, in respects of how does it affect the world. You know, like I said, there's a billion Muslims on the planet. There ain't a billion Muslims coming to kill you. There's a big difference there. But the idea behind the book is, I think I'll agree with Isis there and Eve, is, you know, there is a fundamental problem with what's in the bloody book in the first place. Because you might believe in the book and go, oh, well, that's all nonsense, they're killing people. I wouldn't do that. But it's in the book still. You know, you can choose to ignore it, and that's ignorance. That's ignorance.
I was wanting to say to, I don't know who it was that's got the robot dragon or dinosaur or whatever, but I would like to know how many of these people that hit rock bottom, such as prison, drugs, what have you, how many of these people that hit that area of their life and adopt a certain, convert to a certain religion, how many of them were put there because of religious thoughts in the first place? Religion cripples and it offers a crutch. Religion says that you're sick and offers a doctor. So that's what I would like to know. I would like to know how many of them made bad decisions because of religion itself and then converted to a religion.
I personally agree with you, but I'm not going to throw out the good for striving for the perfect. If somebody's been like a repeat offender criminal since they were 13 and at 28 in prison they have an epiphany and it's like, I've got to follow Jesus, and they stop being a criminal and they become a good citizen, at that point, what am I fighting for?
That, right? To me is still not good.
I personally agree with you.
If they came to the position where they felt like shit to begin with because of religion and made bad decisions because of it.
Well, but
there's a lot of people, and I'm a testament to that lead a horrible life and bad decisions because religion makes them feel like shit. And then they think at some point when they've hit rock bottom that they never took their religion seriously, or they didn't have enough faith, or they find a different religion.
Well, the statistics in the United States for prison is like no father in the house, beaten either sexually or physically abused. There's so many different factors that lead people to that path that I wouldn't put on religion.
Oh, I'm not saying that there's no other factors involved, but what I'm focusing on is one specific factor, and that is religion. I mean, we can't eliminate all factors altogether, but we can start with certain factors that we can try to find a better solution for.
I mean, granted, there is a sense of secularization out in society, in that just beyond the growth of secularism, more people are looking outside of religion for authoritative positions. So, you know, you could say there's something of a basis for that in and of itself working in society, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Who else wanted to talk now?
I had something.
Just let Hillary jump in. She had a hand up there. I know it's hard because sometimes I have my window open and.
I'm after Hillary.
Religion is basically a way of shedding personal responsibility. That is how I see religion and a belief in God, is that you can shed the responsibility for your decisions onto either a god or a devil and not take responsibility yourself. And when you take on the kind of belief that there is a God outside of yourself, you are no longer responsible for your behavior. And we see this all the time in religious people, is that they will very willingly give up responsibility for their actions to either God or the devil. They will never take responsibility for their actions themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Well, that's
is what
not the
I
case.
find really
Well, that's not the case with Islam. I mean, they hope that God sees them as responsible for their actions. Otherwise, they're not going to get their virgins, right?
Okay, yeah. Divergent beliefs and stuff like that. That's also
Yeah, exactly.
need to be taken into account. Also, Idol, what you had something to say?
Yeah, but I don't remember, man. It was kind of important. I thought it was a good point. In defense of this religion thing in America, which is both fundamentally a secular country. The Constitution is a secular document, and being free to be the Christians or whatever that we can be. The United States of America is the most charitable nation on the planet. That means charity with its brethren and charity with other countries. Us. So, maybe it's not all bad.
Nobody.
I don't think it's all bad.
Yeah, nobody
So
said.
Humanist Recovery Drive actually donated like 12 G's to actually this one Nepalese group that actually, when it doesn't help people in like disaster times, it helps people with employment. People who are victims of like domestic abuse in the home, or like homeless people in general. So there's some hope for them.
Well, I wanted to say though, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting the guy's name.
ISIS?
Viva. I'm just gonna call you Viva. Can I call you Viva?
Yeah, that's fine.
Your point.
Yeah, Viva.
To your point about there being more factors, such as maybe a child was grown up in a home that was beat up or whatever, abused by their parents. We recognize that that's a factor to play, but we don't say, well, because because there's other factors, we shouldn't address that specific factor. Well, we still address abuse. There's laws against abuse. There's ways that we try to eliminate that from happening. And so I don't think that it's fair to say that because other factors are involved, that we shouldn't pay attention to one specific factor that's being spoken about.
I agree with you, but if religion's maybe the issue is religion's what's available to people in prison. Maybe the atheist secular community needs to be in the prisons to give people options. But I'm saying at that point, if that's what's going to turn you around and make you not kill somebody when you get out on parole, then I'm okay with it. I'm okay with you becoming a Christian or a Muslim.
Yeah, I just see that there's more to it than that, and I don't think that that's necessarily I don't think that that's really helpful.
I think it comes down to psychology and just human beings and how we treat each other. Anyway, I think people need religion for their own little mental stability issues, and that's true. People who were Christians are still the same people, but they just don't believe in one aspect of reality anymore. That's just a fact. I mean, I knew some girl, like back in high school and shit, her dad was a racist, man. Like, did not like black people one bit. She wasn't like that. She grew up in that environment. She wasn't like that. So, a state of mind is very personal to a person. That's why people get offended so much when you talk about God, because they're not seeing it as God as an overarching bigger picture. They're seeing it as, oh, now you're insulting me. You think I'm stupid. You're calling me names when you're trying to make a point about the general theme, and that's why people go around chopping off heads in the name of any religion or doing crazy shit, because they think God is about them, not about me or anybody else. It's about them. That's why God is personal in so many ways. It's just that's what makes it dangerous. It's personal.
Idolatry of the ego. Simple
Yeah,
as
it's
that.
my God. That's the problem. It's not our God. You never hear a Christian say our God. They always say my God or some shit like that. Or even with Muslims, whatever. Any religion always claims it as theirs. If you don't do as you're told or do as it says, which means them, because they've interpreted the message this way, then you're not like us. You're different. You're an outcast. You're an infidel. You're a heathen. You know, that's what distinguishes them from us, because it's theirs. It's personal.
There's a superiority complex there that even if it's denied, it's still there, even if people don't actually see it. There's a lot of Christian people that even on here that you'll see say, you know, I'm no better than you are. I'm no better than an atheist. But their whole Christian position and
Makes
even
them so.
yeah, it's a superior position. They're still chosen. They're still going to be the ones in heaven. They're still God's people. They're still favored. And that's a biblical teaching, being all those things that I just mentioned.
You can smile, but it still means the same shit.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I've asked people on here, like, when they say they have this relationship with God, just how kind of, to me, how flimsy what they're saying is God is. It's like, I have this feeling when I turn. I mean, it's literally, that's what it is. They say, I get this feeling sometimes. It's so, to me, it's just so not something that would convince me, but that's what they say. They say things like, I get this feeling, or I turn around sometimes, and that just doesn't register with me. That what they say is their personal relationship with God is just...
I think a lot of people are religious because it's for emotional reasons. Is that what you're trying to say? Like, are you talking about like when they specifically talk about when they...
Yeah, I used to think it was something really deep, you know, that they would. It was like when they say they have this personal relationship with God. I'd ask them, I was like, "What is it?" And they just like, I get this feeling. I
get that when I'm
Which, you know what? Everybody does get that feeling with different things, music, beautiful natural sights. When you watch a scary movie, you might get goosebumps. I mean, you just get everybody has those types of feelings. The problem is people chalk it up to being something supernatural instead of a natural thing.
And most of them don't even know what. The best thing I love about religion, though, is the idea or the ability to dream. That's what I love about it, because that's just it. It's a fucking dream. There's nothing real in it, right? But they somehow manifest it in reality. You know, if I was like, oh, pink unicorns and all this stuff, and if I said that to you guys, you'd be like, oh, fuck off, you're crazy.
Well, I mean...
But we take that for granted with religious people. That what they say is somehow plausible in a rational world, and it's obviously not, but hold on.
Well, I think that imagination and our creative abilities, I think these are good things, and I even think mythology, as long as it's defined as mythology, and as long as you could tell the difference between imagination and fiction and mythology, then reality can be beneficial for mankind. I think that that's where religion should be placed, and how religion could be beneficial is in the mythology category. We find stress relievers when we write poems, or when we write some type of literature, or we escape in these ways of being able to be imaginative and creative. We don't have to actually believe that it's real, though.
All right, Hillary, hit that mute button and go for it. You get your microphone on, Hillary. Hillary, we can hear. We need you up at the top.
Unmute yourself.
She needs to unmute herself. There's a mic button at the top of the screen. It'll say mute microphone.
There you go, Hill.
Okay, yeah. I didn't mute myself, so somebody muted me, apparently.
It
It
was
was
a glitch.
it was a glitch on Google. I've seen it
Yeah,
happen in other
it
windows.
says I muted you, but I didn't.
Okay, regardless, I would like to talk about dreams. Dreams are actually an evolutionary thing about our frontal lobe trying to contact our amygdala. And so our dreams are a way to attach some kind of meaning that goes back a long, long time to the amygdala, to the reptilian brain. And this is why, because we are able to dream in the way that we can dream, in such vision and imagination, that is what makes us human. But it's actually just at the same time causing a huge problem in our species being able to just get along with each other. And that is why I will say belief is the most dangerous thing.
So, Hillary, do you believe in anything?
No.
Okay, do you have knowledge of anything?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the difference between belief and knowledge?
Belief is taking something on without evidence.
That's actually correct. Well said, Hillary. As defined in the dictionary.
Really, that is how it's defined?
Yeah, literally in the Oxford English Dictionary. It's without belief. In fact, it's in brackets when it says without belief. Without belief.
No, okay,
I read the dictionary in the 4th grade.
No, but okay, good for you, Hillary.
No, Hillary. Apparently, you can't use a dictionary nowadays.
This seems to be the most common one: an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists.
Especially without evidence.
No, that would be faith.
Acceptance. You snuck that word in there.
I'm just gonna.
No, I didn't. Look. I literally Googled it.
Let's let Atheist.
I'm sure it's going to be different for
Here you
different
go.
dictionaries.
There you go.
Well, I like my vision since I speak English, so I am biased. I will say I am biased. Okay.
But belief is not a bad thing even for atheists.
Notice how he completely deflected my
Yeah, but
point.
it depends on
No,
what you
even
mean
the
by belief.
Oxford dictionary says the exact same thing that I did.
No, I'm about to give it to you in the sidebar.
It's already there. Idle Spectre got it.
Number one. That's what it says. Number one. Look what it says, especially one without proof.
Okay, but look
Right
at
there,
the one. Look at the one that Idle Smasher put in. That's
it says U.S. definition, American.
I told y'all you were going to get different ones for different dictionaries.
It depends on what the basis. It depends on what the basis of belief is. You know.
And
we're arguing
exactly
common.
what I said.
Well, I would say, well, Hillary, I would say that you're being imprecise because arguing from the dictionary is just arguing from common use.
Well, no, but in England, hold on a minute. You can't say that because the common use in English is the Oxford English Dictionary. It's exactly what it said. What he said. Come on, it's semantics. Like, hold
There's
on.
nothing wrong with arguing from the common use.
Hold on.
Well, no, sometimes no, Sty. How else?
No, ISIS. That's
Sty, are you gonna let me? I let you have.
We're on fucking time. We're on fucking time.
ISIS.
I let you have.
Tell you, look.
I let you have your say. Okay, you said what you had to say. I would like to say.
No, you haven't. I just corrected your ass. Sorry.
No, like I said.
Just kill the fuck out.
No, like I said, you're arguing from common use.
No, I'm trying to tell you. Forget the semantics, right? Forget that, right? I think the problem here is if we go down this route, it's going to end up in this. Let's argue about the common use. She was correct.
No,
as far
I'm
as
saying
I'm aware,
you
right?
are.
No, well, I am because it's in a dictionary that's actually the English dictionary.
Well,
Not the
arguing
US.
from common use doesn't mean that that's being precise or anything.
No,
It's
well,
just arguing for
Ken,
what other
you
people
can-
think it
make-
means.
You
That's
can
the point
argue
I'm
from
trying to
common
make.
use as long as things are clarified to where you can agree on
That's
the future.
exactly, and that's why I was trying to clarify with Hillary, because I think that she
can
was misusing the word. I think that that if she said faith, I would 100% agree with her. But I think that
Well, that would be semantics again, because now you're going to use a different word.
That's what we're arguing right now, anyway. Like, yeah,
no, but okay,
you
no,
can
no,
talk.
but okay. So, Sty, do you faith that when you drop a pen?
Hold on.
Wait, let me.
Stop. Let Hillary
Why
talk,
not?
and then you can ask either question.
Can I interject because
Go on,
that
Hillary.
was just like going off into a rabbit hole. I was merely pointing out what the clearly understood definition of that word was, because autistic people only have that.
Okay,
So,
so
Hillary, if you
yada
want,
yada,
don't
Hillary.
interrupt me. Oh my!
I really don't care, Hillary. So I was gonna prove to you that faith is different than belief, right? So Sty, do you faith
I think
that
she
when you drop?
probably agrees with you there, but you should have asked her to clarify what she really means by it. You don't have to get into a semantic argument to ask someone's clarification.
Well, we clearly don't, and I was going to say, I mean, so Sty, do you faith that when you drop a pen that it will fall because of gravity?
It's still
or do you
semantics.
believe-
You're still arguing, hey, you should use the proper word instead of arguing what she means by what she stated.
He doesn't care what I mean.
No, but if
because
she's
he
confused
just
in the
muted
meaning
me
of her.
Wolf,
and
drop a hammer,
wanted
please.
to
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Her words,
Okay,
how can
we're
we
gonna
even
continue this.
argue
we're gonna
about
continue
what
this
she
offline. I
means?
forgot to stop the broadcast.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank everyone for coming up. This has been just another night in secular America. Thanks everyone, and Tape Aude, Dare to Know, and later. Ciao.